After years of testing and tens of thousands of dollars spent on marketing and advertising, we are still amazed that the 7 most powerful marketing strategies we found are surprisingly low cost or even free. So we boiled down everything that we learned into a 7-step guide, and we're giving it away for free. If you want to download the free guide called 7 Steps to Marketing Your Business, it's easy. Just text the word Untrapped to 31996. Again, just text Untrapped to 31996.
Oh my God, we're on the show right now. What's up? This is Keith Kelfis with the Untrapped Podcast. Oh shit, dog! Who do we got here? We got Mark Parker, the technical field specialist from Steel, and Daniel Miraval. He's a board master certified arborist. Did I say that right, Miraval?
You did not.
No, you're a board certified master.
Board certified master arborist. It's all good though.
That's awesome.
A board certified master arborist. There's only a few of you in the world.
866 at last count. There's 16 in Michigan. There's 33 in the state of Illinois where I am. So that's pretty exciting.
Man, it's so nice to have you on the show.
I'm the only Latino in the Midwest that has gotten to that designation.
Really?
That's pretty awesome. Yes.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
So I guess, what's the process like that go into? Because I live in Toledo, Ohio. So I'm just curious about what that whole process goes about and to becoming a certified arborist in that sense of that high caliber, considering there's 16 in Michigan. Would you say 30 something in Illinois?
33 in Illinois. I don't know how many there are in Ohio, but it's not a lot.
I mean, it's probably somewhere between 10 and 30, I would guess.
More than likely, yes. So the whole process, you got to take a very comprehensive, high-skill test. You know, it takes, 10,000 hours to do anything repetitively to ever attain mastery.
Yeah.
So being in arboriculture, horticulture, being in the industry, and applying yourself and in these advanced skill sets, you have to do it consistently to be able to pass the test.
Can we dial it back? What drove you to tree work? What drove you to having, because clearly this is something you need to be passionate about.
Well, I mean, it started for me like 30 years ago. I mean, it was a major path change in my life. I wasn't doing very well as a young man, a lot of challenges, coming from the southwest side of Detroit, a lot of limited options, didn't have any really good role models to follow. Just ran into some people in the industry that kind of saw some ability in me, and they believed in me and gave me an opportunity for upward mobility. And I kind of ran with that because I knew that if I didn't do something and then find something that I love to do, that I probably would end up dead or locked up. And I had gone through the locked up part already at a very young age. So I didn't want to have that be my future. So I found trees and the care of them and greenscapes to be a passion. And I kind of ran with it. 30 years later, I'm still doing it and trying to inspire others that maybe came from a similar background as mine to pursue our industry. And this is a career path. To become a board certified master arborist, you have to actually qualify to sit through it before the test. It took me a few years to be able to qualify to sit for the test, just because I don't have college. I didn't graduate from high school. I got a GED a couple of years after I dropped out, and I had to drop out from extenuating circumstances, but I did go back into GED. But because I didn't have any formal college education, it did take me some time to qualify and get all the points necessary to sit for that test. It's an international designation.
That's awesome. That's absolutely incredible, because we were talking about perseverance and mindset, and I was talking about something like, because we were talking about luck, and there's people who probably look, oh, Daniel's so lucky. Look at what Daniel does. He has all this stuff. He's just so lucky. And it's people don't see the 10,000 miles of shit that you had to crawl through to get there, and just everything that you had to do. And we were just talking about mindsets like that, and mindsets of people who are passionate about something that's bigger than themselves, but how serving drives them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Servant leadership.
Yes.
So that was kind of my decision to execute on becoming a board certified master arborist. Being Latino and that being a growing demographic in our industry, I really didn't have anybody to ever follow. And I kind of reached out to the industry and said, who is at that level that I can aspire to be like and follow? And no one really answered the call. No one came out and said, hey, I'm that guy. this is my story. So I said, well, that even drives me more to become that guy, so that if there's someone else like me out there that's looking to attain that level, that I have to become the role model. So I had to become a role model for myself so that I can serve others.
That's
as
awesome.
Luck really is the definition of when preparedness meets opportunity. So we should always be preparing ourselves for what may come. I think most people do it backwards. They say, when I get X, Y, Z, that's when I'm going to go into action, doing X, Y, Z. No, it's the other way around. You need to always be moving forward in a way that you anticipate that what you want is going to manifest. And it will manifest if you follow that protocol where you're always working on yourself, because certain things will present themselves to you on your path. And if you're prepared for them when they show up, you can take advantage and move forward. And that'll drive you to the next level. It's a lot of work, though. It's tiring because you beat your head against the wall. Late nights, people don't see that. You've got to have that drive. You got to find that drive from within. So you've got to really have your own, mission statement, your core values set up. You got to have your own vision, so that drive can't on someone else to drive you either. You have to have that from within.
Hell yeah, I'm ready to run through a brick wall right now, Daniel. I'm ready, dude. Because you took the words out of my mouth. Where luck is where preparation meets opportunity.
Correct.
And that, I just said that to Keith.
It's true.
30 minutes ago. And it's just, and I was talking to Keith earlier about how people who are cut from the same cloth, kind of like how I am, Keith is, and I can tell you are, we gravitate towards each other because we're like, okay, these are people who give off that good positive energy and are like-minded individuals who we're driven to serve others in an industry or a field that we're really passionate about. Because that's the combination. You have people who they want to serve, they want to do stuff, but they don't do it in an avenue that they're passionate about. Then you have people who follow a passion with no servant leadership behind it. So then it's a very empty passion, or it's a very solo type thing. So I just find that very interesting, where this is the first time me and Daniel have ever spoken, and we're pulling words out of each other's heads and mouths right now. And that's just the interesting thing.
Well, we're vibrating at a high frequency.
Mm-hmm. And for some context, Mark Parker's here in my new garage studio we're building out, and he's got an MS 500i chainsaw over there on the bench with a bunch of safety gear and chainsaw chaps and safety glasses, and we're making some safety videos here on YouTube and on Instagram. And we're like, let's make a podcast. Let's call Daniel Miraval, because your name came up.
Mm-hmm. I was like, who's that arborist guy who you had, Daniel something? And he was like, Daniel Miraval. I go, that guy seemed awesome. I go, that guy seemed so cool.
A wealth of knowledge.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was my exact quote, was because I could just tell you were very passionate, yet articulate and knowledgeable about the tree care industry.
Absolutely.
How can people find you?
Like I said,
Too Latino for You, just so they know.
Yeah, Too Latino for You on Instagram, Green Extraction Technologies. You can Google that. You'll find YouTube channel, Twitter, Facebook, IG.
Sweet. And what were you going to say?
Who, me?
Yes.
I don't know. I forgot.
You said wealth of knowledge, and then you started talking.
I'm sorry. I lost my train of thought. You asked me about how people can find me.
You're on the car right now. Are you out doing quotes? Are you selling jobs or doing consultations?
No, I'm actually running some errands. I'm actually on my way to the D later on this afternoon, so I'm out running some errands.
You're coming to Detroit?
I am coming to Detroit. Don't tell nobody, though.
Too late now.
Yeah. I'll be leaving later on this afternoon. I'll be there through Monday.
Man, just those videos that we did, even just basic of us walking around and me asking you questions and you talking about trees, have been some of the most successful videos as far as knowledge. And people in the comments are saying, like, oh my God, because it's just the way you talk and the way you present the information. Like, thank you so much for what you're doing. I can't wait to get together with you and make some more content.
I appreciate that, and that really drives my passion even more. I mean, apparently I have some sort of a gift to do that, as do you and Mark, because I've seen Mark's video, like at conferences where he's talking about chainsaw safety and the importance of that. It's not, even though Mark, you're technical, you're doing it from a passion base. Like, we don't want people to get hurt using the most phenomenal product in existence for tree work, which are still chainsaws and still professional equipment. So, You come from that side of it too. So you have that ability to communicate that to people. You have a gift. Keith, you have a gift. Apparently I have one too, which has really driven me down the path of learning how that I can use that effectively, efficiently. I've taken a lot of leadership training in the industry. That's what I was going to say about the industry. This industry, the green industry, offers an exponential amount of opportunity to become a leader. We need leaders. Mm-hmm. We need people to start on the ground, lead on the ground, and then migrate up through the ranks. I think people get into tree work and they think they've always got to drag brush to the chipper or just drop big wood. It's really not like that. We need leadership in the industry. Sure. I think that's what my thought was.
See, and that's so interesting. Just seeing like tree work versus like landscaping, pruning, paver work, whatever. Because you can tell this with tree guys there's a difference between like the guys who horticulturally prune bushes versus the guys who shear bushes. There's guys who horticulturally prune trees, and then there's guys who can take down trees. And there's a big difference.
Sure. It's a level of professionalism. And again, there are a lot of opportunities in this industry to enhance your skill set and to do things, at a higher level.
How does somebody find out more ways to gain greater knowledge about tree work, tree care? I know this is a broad question, but if someone who's just starting out and they're like, I'm passionate about trees, maybe they're a ground guy, maybe there's someone like that, or a landscaper who wants to migrate that, what would you say is a great track to go on to gaining a lot of professional knowledge as well as safety knowledge? I mean, because I can point them in a safety direction of, hey, here's some videos. I can come provide free trainings, because the trainings I do are completely free for people. But what are some ways for they can get like tree care knowledge and stuff like that?
I think if they're going to get into the industry and they haven't done it before, or even if they've done tree work in the past, but they want to enhance their skill set, I think looking for the right kind of company to work for is helpful. So just as much as like when you go look for a job, you're being interviewed, I think it's important that you interview the company you're going to work for as well. You have a list of questions like, what's my chance for upward mobility? What are my opportunities to enhance my skill set to learn? Do you just want someone who drags brush? Do you just want a body? It's optional if I wear PPE. Or do you have a culture in your company? So maybe that's the question to ask people. What's the culture in your company? And if you go somewhere and company owner or hiring manager can't answer these questions, you might want to think about whether or not that company is a good fit. Even if they're willing to pay you a little bit more money, they may pay you more, but you may not have an opportunity to learn anything. In our firm, I look for people who will ask me these kinds of questions. I want someone who's going to come to the table and say, listen, I know, number one, my personal safety is my personal responsibility. Whether or not you have a culture of wearing a helmet, I'm always going to wear one. You want people like that to work for you. So starting with that, like you're going to get into tree work or you're already working in tree work, and you want to learn more, finding out that if you're working for a company that has a good culture is important. If you haven't done anything and maybe you want to go off on your own to learn, then I guess I would recommend that you Google the International Society of Arboriculture. I think it's arbor-isa.com, I believe it is. And the Arborist Certification Preparation Manual is not a super technical book, but there are some things in there that you can go chapter by chapter learning about pruning, plant health care, safety, climbing, just some basic things. But so those are kind of the standards of our industry. And that's a good place to start. Tree Care Industry Association is a good place to start. Companies like my firm, if you come into my company, I'll put you through the Tree Care Academy. I will pay for all of that. You can learn like chainsaw specialists, chipper specialists, climbers. There's all these different categories where you can learn all the things that we do, including proper tree care, basic proper tree care. And I pay for that. And those certifications belong to the employee. If ever we're not a good fit anymore, or for some reason they got to leave because maybe they're moving across country because God knows why, they'll at least have something that when they leave me, they can go to the next place armed with some level of, hey, I've tried to learn more, so that they can find themselves landing at a better organization to increase their knowledge. I don't know if that was
no, absolutely. That's incredible how you pay for all that training, because it's the classic that business owners probably try to run into. It's like, oh, well, if I pay for all this training and this person leaves, then I'm stuck. And they don't think about, well, what if I don't train them at all and then they stay here?
Keith returns with more in just a moment. If you are looking for the greatest software ever to run your business on, go to getjobber.com/Keith. You can create proposals, invoices, collect payments, and track your entire business directly on the Jobber smartphone app. If you want to get a totally free trial of Jobber right now, open your browser, type in getjobber.com/Keith, and after the trial, if you decide to sign up with Keith's link, you'll automatically get 20% off your first 6 months. So what are you waiting for? Go to getjobber.com/Keith. Once again, here's Keith Kalfas.
So then I have an untrained, unsafe employee.
Look at it from this perspective. Everyone who comes into an organization should really be a brand ambassador. So my best advertisement for high-skilled labor is if someone leaves me and they go to another tree care. Like I said, let's say some guy's married, the wife's father is not feeling well, they got to move to California from Chicago. Just a life circumstance. I would want that person to go to the next company and be really good and have someone recognize their skill and say, man, how did you get like that? And be able to tie back to my firm and my mentorship and say, hey, I work for this other company. I had to leave, unfortunately, but here's what I learned there. Because that's going to get out there in the industry, and the right people will say, I want to work at a place like that. I want to work with a team like that. So it's not so much that I'm paying for it. It's just an investment. I'm investing in people because I'm investing in their future, independent of whether or not they're going to stay with me or not. I think a lot of tree care company owners and hiring managers think that if they get somebody, that they should keep them. Like they're never going to leave them. I don't think that's realistic. I don't think the people that work for me are going to stay with me forever because life changes. Maybe they're growing faster than I can support their growth. That can happen as well, which drives me to get better. Because I don't want that to be the reason to leave. But I know my own limitations, my firm's limitations as well. So, so I look at it that way too. People are brand ambassadors for your organization, and you want other people in the industry to recognize that, hey, this person's good, and then have them tie back to you and your organization.
Dude, I'm just shaking my head this whole time. Like, it's like the no shake, but it's not no. It's like, I can't even explain it. You're just dropping pure knowledge. It's not even knowledge. It's your worldview and your level of clarity around this is so top shelf that I'm almost like, it's a combination of like very inspired versus a little bit embarrassed versus like, wow. And something as serious as you take it and make it. Wow, dude.
Look at the work that we do. It's so environmentally important, the work that we do, from tree preservation, which is what we mostly focus on, to removal, which sometimes involves tree preservation. Sometimes we need to do technical removal of invasive trees, big invasive trees, to enhance the green space so that the better trees underneath the invasive trees can thrive. You want big mulberry shading out some oak. You want that oak to have the ability to grow and offer the massive benefits that oaks do. Most people don't know this, but oak trees sequester more carbon than any other tree that's out there. And our oak trees in the Midwest in general are having a very hard time right now.
Why is that?
Different environmental issues. A lot of these, I don't want to talk about climate change, but climate challenges. When you say climate change, it takes it down a political road, which I don't want to do. But obviously the climate change, November the other day, and it's like 65 degrees in Chicago. It's insane.
Yeah.
But,
and it snowed yesterday.
Yeah, and it's here too. It snowed here in Chicago too. But, so we got to, environmentally, we got to take care of planet.
Yeah,
and it's dangerous. Dangerous work.
Absolutely. That's something that we were talking about earlier is we're in such a DIY age with people, and it's okay to DIY your perennials. It's okay to DIY pruning your boxwoods. It's not okay to DIY your tree care at your house.
Exactly. High-powered equipment being like a chainsaw. It's amazing. Anybody can buy a chainsaw. One of the most dangerous weapons there is besides the gun. Anyone can go to the local hardware store and go buy one with no skill, no training, no license. Look at the amount of damage that people do to their bodies with a chainsaw.
Yeah, it's terrifying. There's people who I see walk into stores and purchase chainsaws, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm terrified. And there are people I try to make sure if I'm in a store and I see that, I try to really make sure I educate them on what they're purchasing and what they need. And I really try to make sure they don't walk out of there with PPE. I can't literally make them buy it, but it's one of those things that you really, really try to encourage and get people to do because it's a life-saving thing. I mean, I was talking about earlier when we shot a YouTube video about chaps and stuff, and I was inspired by this because I keep seeing videos. People are wearing chaps and then cutting into them on their legs.
Oh, on purpose, just to show it?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe it. Like, do your eyes just pop out of your head and your jaw hits the floor every time you see something that's dumb?
It's crazy. Well, even PPE. I mean, a lot of people don't even know how to properly use PPE. Like making sure that the straps around your legs are tight. Because if the chain was the catch, it's going to catch your chaps, spin your chaps around, and some part of that bar and chain are still going to catch your leg. Or making sure that your chaps cover that 2 inches on the top of your foot, making sure they're long enough.
Yeah.
Safety glass. Every safety glass is not the same. Z87.1.
Yeah.
You know, that's the eye protection we're supposed to use specific to arboriculture operations. And all that information can be found in the Z133, which is the anti-standard for our industry specific to arboricultural operations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And
I would recommend anybody in tree care, anybody that's out there that's listening right now that's in tree care, you know, just Google that. And I think it's like $15 and get yourself a copy of the Z133. Those are all the specifications and what you should do, what you shall do. So should is a recommendation. Shall is like, no, you have to. Like you have to wear safety glasses. You shall wear safety glasses. It's not an option. You have to wear them.
Yeah.
You know, but I would recommend other people out there that are listening to, you know, Google that, buy that, read it, learn it. The Z133 was written in blood.
Absolutely.
That's why we have it. There's been accidents.
So a little bit lighter note. All right. What do you prefer? Do you prefer like a Detroit style Coney dog or do you prefer a Chicago style dog?
Oh, no, Detroit.
All right. How about?
Because we can put ketchup on ours. If you put ketchup on one here in Chicago, and they'll run you out of town. You're not allowed to put ketchup on.
Oh, never put ketchup on a hot dog, period. That is just period.
No, you can't in Detroit.
No, you can't do it. You can't put ketchup on a Coney. Get out of here.
Well,
it's got to be yellow mustard.
Well, you can put both.
Oh, okay. All right. I'll give that to you. Okay. Detroit pizza, or Chicago pizza?
Oh, New York.
New York
off the corner.
Nice. Yeah. All right. Coke or Pepsi?
Oh, Coke.
Attaboy. Attaboy.
Hey, we ordered some Jimmy John's real quick, and I've got this big TV in here with a Wi-Fi internet. We were watching tree fail compilation videos of guys climbing up the ladders and like falling and dropping trees on houses and smashing things. And you ever seen those videos?
Oh yeah, tree fail. Yeah.
And then that just perfectly coincided.
Well, we ripped up a gutter and we've taken out a couple fences. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I mean,
we made some oopsies.
Oopsies happen. You're not on the 2 ladders ratchet strapped together to a tree while you're wearing flip flops and no t-shirt.
No, that's not it. No.
I see that stuff, and it's just the funniest. And it's funny and scary. I'll be going and doing the safety training, and every time there is just some guy who will be there, and he'll be like, "I've been cutting trees for 30 years." And I got this scar on my leg because I wasn't wearing chaps and I cut my knee open. And I'm like, yeah, you're just telling me how dumb you are right now. Like, sir, wear safety apparel. Like, why are you being ignorant? And I don't understand that culture of people who don't want to wear it.
Well, you know, that's something that's rampant in the industry. We speak a lot about this at a lot of the leadership stuff that I go to. In my generation, it was like a badge of honor that if you come back to the shop and you had a near miss or a near death experience, but didn't actually get hurt or die, like you get a star.
Yeah.
To your name. Because like, oh, you almost died, but you didn't. Good job. You know, that was like a badge of honor. That was a badge of honor. We're trying to get away from that. So. I hate to run, but I've got like all these errands I got to get done before I bounce out of the side.
Perfect time. We're just about to wrap up anyways. So,
all right, cool.
Man, thank you so much.
I appreciate letting me be a part of the show.
Nah, I appreciate it, man. It was great meeting you.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure we'll run into each other once things get back to normal. We can actually do conferences and stuff in person again.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Alrighty, perfect. Thanks. Over and out. Daniel Miraval, certified board master arborist.
Board certified master arborist.
Board.
BCM.
Board certified. Oh, board certified. Master arborist.
Yes.
Very DCMS.
Sorry, man. You're like a doctor. Okay.
Tree doctor.
You are a tree doctor. All right.
I'm the Latino Borax.
Yes. All right. Thanks,
Love
man. Great having you on the show. Later.
See you, buddy.
You guys have a great holiday. Peace out.
Thanks, you too.
All right, bye.
Bye. All right. He's gone. Dude, the level of necessity that he brings.
It's great. It's incredible. That is what I was talking about from the last podcast.
He's talking about enhancing a green space, and the level of terminology he uses when he talks about it. He takes this beyond the grave, dude.
Yeah. Talking about he wants to pay for people to become more educated.
Oh, I went to the Illinois Arborist Association live annual conference. I think we shot a video in 2018. Man, time flies. And he had his crew there, and he was paying for them, and they were very seriously and great guys, and they were taking notes and very appreciative, and they were fired up, and they were proud to be on his team, and they walked proud.
Yeah. He pays for them to get educated in hopes that they leave his business and go influence other businesses. He's creating stewards of servant leadership.
God. And he also he has this thing he says, he calls it becoming a proactive steward of the urban environment.
I love that.
I just want to support what he does, and I want to put him on videos and podcasts, and I hope one day, I already know he's going to be speaking at huge conferences, and I mean, I'm sure he likes some of the attention, but what I mean is like he's doing something for a higher purpose. And that's what really motivates people to say, how did you get to where you're at? Because if you do it just solely for yourself, it's very hard to get there. You have to do it for the greater good. You go from egocentric to ethnocentric to world-centric.
There's only so much energy that I can draw from myself. And then there's only so much energy I can draw from serving only people that I know. But then there's so much energy you can draw from serving people you don't know. And that is something that's higher level and what is enjoyable. Knowing you impacted people, you have no idea who they are. That is something that helps drive.
That's amazing that you understand that too.
Mm-hmm.
Tony Robbins told this story once, and I think it was this personal power program back in the day, like a ship sank and they were like, everybody swimming and drowning in the ocean, and there was a small group of people left waiting for like the boats to come. And they had been out there like 16 hours paddling, and at some point during the last hour, people just started dropping like flies and giving up and drowning, and they couldn't swim anymore. Please keep going, They couldn't. But then one of the people was a leader, and he said, if you don't do it for you, do it for your children, do it for your family. If you don't have kids, do it for your kids that haven't even been born yet. Do it for something beyond yourself. And then they found that people were able to keep going and keep swimming and pull and access this whole other resource of energy when they were doing it for a reason beyond themselves.
When you hear about tragedies or crisis that happen, and say there's a car accident, and you hear about people who are able to like lift cars and roll them over, it's not because they're lifting the car off themselves. It's because they're lifting the car off someone they care about. That's where it is, to really give a real life principle of what you were talking about.
You know what's crazy? It just made me think, I have people in my life that I love and care about so much that I would walk through fire. I would go through hell to protect them.
Yes.
But why don't we do that for ourselves at times? Why?
That's what makes humans humans. We're the only species that protects our sick and dying.
I saw this video on Facebook, people post something, it was like a honeybee got pulled through the mill and got honey all over its wings, and the beekeeper put it back on the thing, and then the other bees were saving it. It's like they're playing this emotional music. It's just like bees, but it is important, of course. I get that. And then people in the comments were saying those bees aren't saving that bee. They're just twisting that for the video. They're actually just pulling the honey off of it to conserve the honey, then they'll push it off the hive and let it die. They don't care about that other bee. I'm like, how do you know that we're the only species that does that?
That takes care of their dying, then they're sick?
Yeah.
Think about it. If you're in a pack of deer or something, deer loses its leg. There's not 4 deer that go in there to carry around that other deer. It just ends up getting eaten. Darwinism.
It's crazy.
The law of nature. It's not like animals cannot process love and affection. Look at dogs.
Absolutely.
Dogs have the most unconditional love there is, but it's the ability of thought and to do something about it.
I was at work yesterday. Why did I just tell you that? I went to post a story on Instagram because I do that
from time to time.
And I went live on YouTube and showed me using this new Exmark mower and stuff. But anyways, on my feed, it just popped up. I didn't have any choice. And it was like a little rat. And the guy's like, hey, this is my daughter's rat, and its rat brother just literally died a couple days ago. It was like an older rat. And the rat that was still alive, that lost its brother, was laying in the corner of the couch in complete depression with his whiskers just kind of like just sniffing. And you could see the pure suffering in the rat's eyes. And he was petting the rat, talking about how interesting and sad it is, how this rat is processing the loss. Ooh, I'm going down a dark path. Sorry, I came home. I'm like, hey, honey, you want to see a sad video? She goes, no, I don't want to see anything sad. I'm like, you sure? Because I watched it, and when I ain't even going to lie, dude. I like laid with my head on the window, and I started like kind of crying in my truck watching this because I was like, oh my God, the smallest of little animals can totally process emotions. Sorry if I'm being a little, we just had an unexpected death in my family, so I'm like a little in a low spot right now.
That's what we were talking about, being able to process that and talk about it.
Yeah.
You need to do that. And doing that more and more and more helps people, and it makes things better. It allows you to know that you are not alone, and you won't be walking alone throughout this life. But
beautiful. I love it. Thank you for that.
Yeah. It's one of those things. And what we were talking about, being able to walk through hellfire for people you would do anything for. And like anything. And those are what drives your purpose. And everybody, I'm not going to say most people, because there's some messed up people in this world. Most people can think of one person they would do anything in this world for. At least one. So if you think about it, that means you are that person for somebody. That they would do literally anything for you.
I think that aside from my wife and my friend William that was here earlier, on the outside you see it. He's the tree guy with the blonde beard who... I always say takes down huge trees. He's in my videos. I mean, this guy would drop anything and come to quote unquote rescue me if I needed his help. And it's a type of unconditional love that there's nothing I can do about it, that he cares about me that much. And it's real. And
friends are family that you choose. In my opinion, friends are the family that you choose.
It's amazing.
We're all born with a family somewhere, but your friends are the family that you create out of choice. Friendship, by far, is the sweetest influence.
Yeah.
By far. The sweetest influence is friendship.
I want to end it here. We're going a bit on our time. So, guys, watch the video on YouTube. Just type in Mark Parker. You should pop up Mark Parker Steel. And if you want to learn about safety stuff with the proper PPE and things to wear, you got to check this guy out. We just did a video. We just did another podcast, too. You can search here in the podcast directory. On Apple Podcasts, just type Keith Kalfas, Mark Parker. It'll pop up. And then how can everybody find you?
You can find me on Instagram, MarkParker567. You can find me on Steel USA if you want to find me there to get a hold of me. All my contact info is there. But shoot me a DM on Instagram and love to connect.
Sweet. And then in the future here, you said you're thinking about writing a book. Are you going to start a YouTube channel or this stuff? Because you have a lot more stuff to share.
Yes. I'm kicking a lot of that stuff around, and you will absolutely be one of the first to know when I'm at that point right now. Right now, I'm working on a book about men's mental health. I'm getting the outline started about how long I want to make it and things like that. And then I'm also I'm starting my master's degree here soon. And then,
master's degree? In what?
I'm going to get my MBA. Hopefully, fingers crossed, get my MBA. So hopefully I finish that up.
Do you have to get like a bachelor's and associates before that?
Yes. Well, you have to get a bachelor's before that.
Do you have a bachelor's? In what?
I got a BBA. My major was marketing and professional sales. I did a minor in entrepreneurship.
Wow.
Yeah.
I dropped out of school in like 9th grade. I don't know anything about any of this stuff. I went to a community college a couple times.
Yeah.
But I couldn't afford it.
Oh, yeah. No, I went to the University of Toledo and graduated in 2016. After I did that, moved on. And
good for you, man. A master's degree. That's going to be sweet.
Yeah, I want to get that. Maybe one day get a doctorate. Be Dr. Parker. I'm Dr.
Parker.
I'd go up to all my friends who are like medical doctors and stuff and be like, I'm a doctor now.
You're going to be like, excuse, someone says, hey, Mark, hey, That's Dr. Parker to you.
Yeah. Dr. Parker drinking Dr. Pepper.
And you're only 26 and you're this accomplished, man.
I wouldn't say accomplished. It's a work in progress.
Yeah. Well, when you're standing on stage in front of 300 people doing a presentation, there's some accomplishment there to get on that stage.
That was one of the most rewarding experiences I've ever had in my life. I got emotional.
Ryan's event?
Yeah. I got emotional driving home from that, just at how thankful I was for the opportunity.
At the Launchpreneur Academy, yes.
Mm-hmm. Just being able to share the venue and the stage with some of the faces and names and voices of the green industry is so awesome and incredible. And that event has really changed my mindset. It helps solidify a lot of things that I've come into this year in terms of things I was thinking about and starting to do and things I've kind of started to implement over.
Very nice.
Yeah. Before, struggling with mental health, things like that, struggling trying to find a purpose, struggling with things that happened when I was younger, and then kind of coming at peace with a lot of that stuff as I've gotten older, 26, going to be 27 here in a few weeks. That really helped a lot. And that helped kind of solidify the mindset that I know I'm kind of doing things the right way, going in the right direction. And it's just surround yourself with the right people, and it's amazing what can happen.
Absolutely, dude. All right, guys. Thanks so much for listening to the show. Go to Apple Podcasts and leave me a quick review real quick to pump the show up the charts, up the stats.
Subscribe, rate, review.
Subscribe, rate, review. Thank you so much, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.